Hey, everybody. Hey, what's going on? This is your boy, the Dope Ass Dude, and I am so excited to be back with you guys on tonight and excited about tonight's show and my guest and everything and how you're going to leave pretty inspired after tonight. And you guys already know the preliminary things. If you are not, let me just do a sound check, make sure you guys can hear me. Let's see. Trying this out. Can you guys hear me in the chat? If you can, let me know. I think you can. Yep. So let's see here. Making sure. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. So let's go ahead and go on with this here. So you already know the preliminary things. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you don't mind going ahead and subscribing to the YouTube channel, and while you're there, click on like and notification so that you can be notified each and every time a new podcast is uploaded to the site. And then click on like so that this video can be shared with others just like you. Now, if you don't get a chance to listen to it on Mondays, you can always catch it on the go. You can find it on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And then if you want to catch it live, we are live each Monday. You can catch it live on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Again, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And then if you're not following me on Instagram and TikTok, if you don't mind following me on both of those platforms, that would be amazing. So I'm really excited about tonight's show because this guy, I find him to be such an extraordinary person. He is doing his thing. He is out like he's a dad. He's a husband. He works. And then he's also a fitness enthusiast and he's out promoting and doing everything to bring his grind to life. And I love that about him. I watched him since meeting him at the gym. We actually met at the gym. We work out at the same gym on the days in which I go into the office. And he's always there, well, once a month when he's in Dallas, kicking butt. So I'm really excited to have him on the podcast because this guy's like super dope. So let's go ahead and bring him on now.
Hello.
Steven, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Thanks, John, for this opportunity to talk to you, to share about my journey. So I'm looking forward to it. I know when you first asked me to be on your podcast, I was kind of like, really, me? I don't know if I really have a lot to share, but I guess I do. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you do have a lot to share. I mean, of course, I think we in our lives, we all experience different things throughout the day that we never know that is the one thing that's going to eventually bless people. And then I saw you in the gym and you in there hitting it hard. You focus and you focus. You ain't looking around, you ain't talking, you ain't doing all of that other kind of stuff. So like I was even inspired just by watching you in the gym, but we're gonna get to that too.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think when, like I said, when I saw you in the gym, I instantly knew. I was like, this is a brother I got to get on my show. So I knew that. So yeah. So, but how did you get started in fitness?
I mean, I guess it started when I was in high school. Playing sports, basketball. That was probably the most interesting sport for me growing up. And towards my senior year, junior year, senior year, I would work out in my basement with my dad and another friend. Just basic, bench press, nothing too special. But that kind of was the start of my fitness, right? I mean, I always have played sports. I still play basketball. But I really started to get into lifting weights in college. I remember going to Prairie View A&M. That's where I graduated from. It's right outside of Houston. And at the time, there really wasn't a fitness center there. So I would have to drive about 30 minutes to a gym, 24-hour fitness at the time, off 1960, and work out. I mean, they had a basketball court, they had, a full gym. So I was committed to working out, in college, driving 30 minutes or more, just to work out because that was what I was into. I mean, I felt good, I felt confident working out. Also, I could play basketball. I could meet a few people, but that's kind of where it started, high school and college.
Okay. And then, so where did you get to the point like right now? So your whole platform is around, being encouraging to people to elevate their mindset, elevate their life, do all of
Mhm.
these type of things. How did you get to that place that you knew that this was a part of the journey? Like this was the evolution of you?
Uh, it probably well, it's always been working out has always been a part of me, right? My wife will tell you I work out all the time. My parents would tell you, my sister would tell you, I work out, almost to a fault, right? But I remember having a conversation with my wife one time. We were either on a flight or we were going somewhere, and we were just thinking about business ideas, right? One of the first things we came up with was, well, what do we like to do individually? I like to work out. I see a lot of fitness influencers. I see a lot of people on Instagram and social media that turn their passion into a business. Um, and so that's kind of where Elevate with Pace started. That's where the inception started. I didn't have a name for it. I didn't have a logo. I didn't have a platform, but I knew fitness was something that I enjoyed. And why not capture and share and, do things that are related to something that I enjoy, right? Initially, it was a challenge to come up with a name, get a logo, and you want everything to be perfect. But at the end of the day, it was just, here's what I like to do. Let's get my phone camera out and start making some content, making videos. And that's really what I did.
Okay, and I love how you said like because so many times we have the ideal and we know we want to do something greater. We know we want to do something greater. How did you know when it was time for you to take it from paper to reality? Like you said, it wasn't perfect in the beginning. A lot of
Mhm.
us, when we launch, we want things to be perfect. What was your process to get to that place where you say, "Well, I'm just gonna. It's not perfect. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it." How was that for you?
Um, I mean, it was a struggle. I know I like for things to be exactly how I want them to be and, things done a certain way. But if you don't, just get it out there, you're just going to get stuck, right? That analysis paralysis people have talked about. But it was really just, okay, I go to the gym every day. Let's start just recording me on the treadmill, for example, or doing the exercises that I always like to do, like the bench press or the squats. Um, get my camera out. I think I bought a tripod that someone recommended off Amazon for like $20. And you would see people in the gym do the same thing. It's like, why not? Why not just do it? Why not just start? Um, and so I did my first couple videos. I wasn't expecting them to go viral or to get a million views, but I at least wanted to share with people what I do. It's nothing special. It's just being healthy, going to the gym, staying active. And that's really what I want Elevate with Pace to be, staying healthy, being active. I'm in my 40s, and I can tell you that if I wasn't exercising like I do every day, staying healthy, I wouldn't feel the way I feel. I wouldn't look obviously the way that I look. Um, so that's kind of what it was, just get the phone out, get the camera out, and start making something.
Yeah. Now, did you face that hurdle where, like, because we know right now the internet is saturated with everything,
Mhm.
podcasts, fitness,
Yep.
influencers, everybody. What, how was, well, did you ever get to a place where you were kind of like questioning, like, well, what makes me different?
Mhm.
Or, going through that whole comparison thing? Did you do that?
Yeah, I actually did. But I had a conversation with one of my good friends, and he has his own platform and this passion that he's turned into a business. And he was kind of like the same way. Like, there's other people that are doing the same thing. What makes me any different? And he just said, you know, I'm just gonna throw it out there to just be another one that people can start to follow and like. But why not do it? I mean, you're passionate about it. You're already doing it almost every day. Why not put it out there? I mean, it's the internet is social media, so it's not like it's hurting. You're not putting anything that's bad. You're just capturing and sharing what you normally do, which is a good thing. And you never know, it might catch the eye of someone who is looking for this type of fitness person. Or, it's so easy to just follow somebody. It's so easy to just like, a video. So why not be that person who inspire someone, or someone follows you just because, hey, you're doing something that they're doing almost exactly, and maybe they'll start their own social media or fitness. So really it was, you know not trying to think too much about what others are doing or what makes me different, but just put it out there because I'm going to do it already, so just share it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, because I think creatives, I mean, many of us, we do struggle with that. We get in our
Mhm.
head, we overthink things, but the thing that make you different is you. You come into the table with a different platform, and that's
Mhm.
just everybody, because I think it's so many times there are so many people out there with many great ideals, but they got that one person in their corner. That's why you have to be careful with who you surround yourselves with,
Oh yeah.
that is, feeding into that doubt they're already doing, and they should just jump out and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you did that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it was a few times where I was like, okay, well, how am I any different, and what's gonna make my fitness content stand out? But that wasn't the goal. Like, the goal is to capture what I already do, share what I do, and hope that someone finds value in it. Because I find value in exercising, staying healthy, showing um, sometimes funny videos about working out, showing how to make a meal, showing why nutrition is important. Everything around that is something that I like, and something that I'm passionate about. So my goal is just to share it. If it gets a million views or 10 views, I'm still gonna stick to what I do, and it's not gonna stop me from exercising and capturing what I do.
So what is the biggest challenge you believe people face when they're trying to elevate their mindset? What is one of the biggest challenges people struggle with?
Um, so when it comes to fitness, I think when it comes to anything, it's really just being consistent, right? You If you know you want to do something, say you have this goal, you're not going to achieve that goal overnight. It's going to take some repetitive, consistent, stick to itness type of attitude and actions. So I think the consistency part is probably the biggest challenge for people to change or grow or elevate their situation or their life. Um, when it comes to health and fitness, being consistent, like almost to the point where it's religiously consistent. You have to keep doing it, stick to it. Um, the days you don't feel like being active, that those are the days you absolutely need to do something, because you start to take 1, 2 a week off. Now you done fell off, right? So the consistency part is what I think people struggle with the most.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that too. The consistency, and because yeah, everything consistency is even like, because you have to recondition your mind. And I think people think sometimes that, oh, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get
Mhm.
back in the gym, and it's a one time thing. No, you may have to say, I'm gonna get back in the gym the next day,
Yeah,
because it's a daily process. It's just not one thing. And I love how you said you have to be consistent with it. Okay,
yeah.
so let's talk about that too. I know you said you're in your 40s.
Mhm.
So is it a struggle for you to keep that six pack?
It is, man. I mean, staying healthy and being fit and being committed to fitness. There's no end, right? you have to always keep pushing towards it, right? There's no finish line, right? If I go 30 days to the gym, every day for 30 days and I stop, then those 30 days that I just worked so hard for are probably going to go away. So, yeah, it's a challenge, right? There's many days when I don't feel like working out, especially in the morning. So, the morning workouts are ideal for me just because, you know, I have a family, I have a job, like, and statistics show that the best time to work out is in the morning. You got more energy, it prepares you for the day, like you have all the energy and the focus that you need for the rest of the day. You get that when you work out in the morning. So there's a lot of mornings that I don't feel like working out. There's a lot of days I don't feel like working out. There's days when I don't feel like eating healthy all the time, right? There's days when I don't feel like making a breakfast and getting enough protein in every day. Like those are the things that you have to do if you want to get the results you want. And there's many days I don't feel like doing it. So yeah, it is hard. It is hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And well, I mean, I know we live it. I live it as well. Yeah, it is. It's about consistency, and once it becomes a habit and a part of your lifestyle, it's not as hard and
There you
difficult
go.
to maintain. So yeah, you have to
Hmm.
definitely be consistent when you're doing that. So okay, so like I know a lot of ladies that are probably watching this here in the 40 plus group, they always say that it's harder for them to lose weight. Is that true? Do you
Okay.
think it's harder for women to lose weight than men?
Uh, I would say yes. I would say yes because so I think there might be a lot of women who are scared to, I wouldn't say scared, but hesitant to lift weights. But the thing about lifting weights is that will help you burn more calories. That will help you increase your muscle mass, which muscle mass is what helps you um, stay full more. It'll keep you healthy more. It'll give you the longevity you want. Obviously, it'll change your appearance, your body. But I think there may be some hesitancy for women to lift weights, to lift heavy weights, right? That will actually accelerate your weight loss more than just walking, more than just a hip hop dance class. Nothing wrong with those. But if you really want to lose weight, if you really want to change your physique, you have to lift weights. You have to have resistance. You want to really challenge your muscles and build your muscles, right? So I would say, yeah, it is harder for women to lose weight because a man can say, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna start lifting weights. A man, he wants to lift heavy. He may start light, but eventually he'll get, the urge to lift heavy, and he'll start seeing those changes. And lifting heavy is not, um, I wouldn't say looked down upon for a man, but it's a lot easier and more encouraging for a man to lift heavy. So I think that's probably one of the things that women may struggle with is lifting heavy or having a lot of resistance and lifting weights.
Yeah, because I think a lot of women think once they start lifting heavy, they're gonna get they're gonna start to look masculine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
afraid of that.
And I think that's a big misconception because I can lift heavy all day and I still won't be like a bodybuilder type physique. Like that's just not how it works, right? Um, but lifting heavy, lifting weights and having, adequate resistance will challenge your body. It will change your physique, but it's just not being scared to do that and thinking you're just gonna be the Incredible Hulk overnight. No, that's I think that's a big misconception.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go. I know consistency is one of your principles. And then the next one I know is connection. When you say connection, what do you mean by connection when it comes to elevation?
So for me, connection means your community, what you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, right? So growing up, my foundation started from my parents, from my sister. My dad's a pastor, a retired pastor. My mom's a retired high school teacher. my sister, who now is a professor, that community, that connection that I still have with them is my foundation, right? So it teaches me uh, godly principles. It teaches me discipline. It teaches me academic excellence. It teaches me respect. It teaches me how to be a family man. All of those things is what I mean by connection. So that's my family, right? That's my foundation. And then now, like as an adult, as a man, I need to surround myself by people who are like me, right? People who are in fitness, like you, John. People who are fathers. People who are into fitness, right? People who play sports, like what I'm interested in, what I want to grow in. Those are the connections. Those are the people I need to surround myself with. So that's what I mean by connection, because that builds who you are, right? The more people you're around in the phases of life or areas of life that you want to grow in, or just any phase of life that you're in, if you're around those people more, you're going to become more like them. So, I try to surround myself with good, strong men who are fathers, who are husbands, to talk to get encouragement from, to give insight to if they need it. That's what I mean by connection. And for me, if you want to elevate your situation, your life, you have to have a connection of people. I think I've mentioned before in other settings that that's kind of like your board of directors, right? A business has a board of directors that they kind of use as a steering committee to guide them through different situations, through different decisions that they need to make. So your connections and your board of directors is who is going to help you in your situations that you have.
So let me ask you this here, Stephen. So, and I 100% agree with you. Your connections and the people that are in your circle, I think that is super, super important. So, has there ever been a time when you had to cut a connection?
Yeah. I mean, when you like, so I'm into fitness, right? Um, if there's anything that's going to slow me down, when it comes to working out or when it comes to playing basketball, I got to, separate myself from that. So there's people that I may have hung around who drink a lot, who may use drugs or smoke, those type of things. No, I gotta stay away from that, right? You know, even though we may be close friends, we may be tight, right, or used to be tight. Um, you gotta surround yourself by where you wanna go, who you wanna really be around, what you wanna become, right? So anything that has setbacks to that is who I have to separate myself from. So yeah, I have had to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because I think so many times when we are switching up on journeys, pivoting in our lives, our circle is so, and our connections are so important. And so many times we're still holding and tangled up with connections we should have probably already ended years back. But because these connections have been a part of our lives so long, we hold on to them. And
Hmm.
then only to find out later they didn't keep you from going to the destination. They kind of slowed you down though a
Hmm.
little bit. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. So Stephen, someone put in the comments, they said, can you talk about how to get past the plateau in your training and weight loss?
Oh, that's funny. That's my sister. So shout out to my sister for asking the question. Um, well, I would say you have to switch it up, right? Um, you know, there's been times where I've been, working out and I can't get past a certain weight, like either bench press or squatting. So I had to change it up. I had to look for ways to improve this area. For example, I always wanted to squat 315, uh, barbell back squat, right? And so over the past year, I've significantly increased my ability to squat. But what I had to do was I had to start lifting heavy. I had to really challenge myself. I had to push through, just being comfortable with, whatever weight I was doing at the time. but actually challenge myself to the point where, okay, let me ask someone to spot me or to watch me, because I'm lifting heavy now. If I want to get to 315, I really got to push myself. So I think, if you're plateauing, you have to find ways to either make it more challenging for you, or if you're trying to grow, or if you're plateauing, you're just not feeling working out anymore, find another activity that's still exercising, that's still healthy, that's still going to give you some results, and do that for a while and then come back, right? I think plateauing in any area of life always happens. You just have to find your something to give you that passion back, something to give you that what you're looking for back so that you can continue on.
Okay. So let me ask you this here, Stephen. So, like, what would be considered hitting a plateau? Like, if you've been at the same weight 3 weeks, 3 months, like, how do you know you've hit a plateau?
So I would say if you have been doing the same thing and you're not seeing the results that you used to see, then you're hitting a plateau, right? Now, if you're just trying to maintain and you're not maintaining that, then yeah, you've hit a plateau. Like, if you're used to seeing a six pack, right? And for some reason you don't see it anymore, then something has changed, right? You're not challenging your core, your abs anymore. So you gotta switch it up. You gotta either do more weight, you gotta consider what you're eating. We're talking about abs, we're talking about core now. Um, you gotta change something up, right? So yeah, it can't be just 3 weeks. 3 weeks is not long enough to see a change. It would have to be, months, like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, right?
Yeah. Now, if you know you're eating 3 double cheeseburgers on the weekend,
Yeah, that's an issue that you got to figure that out,
yeah,
right?
that's not a
Yeah,
plateau. That's just your diet suck.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we got consistency, connection, and your next thing. And this is a great segue. You said challenge
Mhm.
yourself, because that's your next thing. So, okay, what do you consider a challenge for you? Like, what do you do when you challenge yourself?
So for me, like I've been trying. So my current challenge that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get back to 225 on the bench press, right? I used to do that all the time. In fact, I used to do 225 on incline. So, barbell, incline, or flat bench. I'm trying to get back to 225. So again, like it is with squatting, I have to start lifting heavy, right? I have to eat a little bit more because I need to grow my muscles to be able to hit that weight. Um, but another challenge is just, you know, being more consistent with staying focused when I'm working, right? There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that can take away my time, which I should be working. So what I'm trying to do is put my phone on do not disturb between a certain um, number of hours during the day and really focus in on work, right? Because that's a challenge for me. That's a challenge, right? You got social media, you got friends texting you, you got other things on your mind, you working from home, so you got the ease of just not focusing. So that's a challenge. Another challenge right now is staying focused, doing work, giving work my full time because that's what they expect. That's what I'm paid to do. Um, but yeah, just trying to stay focused there.
Okay. So when challenging for someone else, let's say, for instance, they have hit a plateau, they've hit a plateau and they're not seeing the results that they want to see right now. Like, what is the first thing they do in regards to their workout? Like, what would you, I guess, would you consider tell them to take in consideration what their target is, what they're trying to get to, or if it's weight loss, do something different? Like, what do you tell somebody to do to get challenged?
Yeah. So if you have a goal, you got to figure out what your goal is, right? That's first. If your goal is to lose 5 pounds, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, if your goal is to get stronger, like a goal, like I said before, was for me to lift 315 or 225 on a bench press. Like you have to have a goal. And it may be a goal you might not be able to achieve, but you have to have a goal so you can have something to work towards. That's the challenge, right? What you do in between setting that goal and achieving that goal, that's the challenge. And once you get to the goal, if you kind of did a modest goal, a goal that you knew you could reach, then you need to set a higher goal, right? Because you always want to challenge yourself. If you're going to work out and be healthy, there's always going to be a challenge, right? There's going to be a challenge to eat healthy, to not you know, eat the waffle fries from Chick-fil-A when your kids get Chick-fil-A. Like there's a challenge to not want to eat out and eat certain foods when you know you shouldn't. Like if your goal is X, you need to do everything you can to get there. But you always want to challenge yourself. For me, I never want to just coast and not have something that I'm working towards because then you might hit a plateau, right? So yeah, you definitely need to challenge yourself, whatever your goal is between now and getting to that goal, that should be your challenge. And you can always shift it. You can always, you know, make the goal even higher. But you definitely want to challenge yourself because that's what builds you. That's what builds what you're trying to change, what you're trying to achieve. I think that's what I was saying. That's what builds who you are is when you challenge yourself.
I love that. I love that. So let me ask you this here, Stephen. So you're a husband, you're a dad, you work every day, you're a fitness enthusiast. Like how do you find balance to do all of those things well?
Um, so I think it's the routine that I've kind of I wouldn't say mastered, but kind of created over the last several years, right? You know, working out in the morning because I have a family. There's always family activities, kids activities in the evening. So the days of working out after work, no. I can't even tell you the last time I've worked out at 5 o'clock after work. And I don't even want to go to the gym that late because it's too crowded. Um, but yeah, so I think the routine that I've created kind of helps give me that balance, right? So I can work out in the morning. That's kind of like my time. I got a guy I work out with here in Houston. So we get to joke around. I get the time I need to kind of get myself ready. And then, you have the routine with the kids in the morning. You get to spend time with them quickly. You get to talk to your wife and say bye to her. Then I get to focus on work, right? And then there's a little bit of time in between when my wife gets home, when I have to pick up the kids, when the evening routine starts. That I have another little small pocket of time where I can just relax and have my own little time, right? And then after that, you have the family time. The weekends, I usually work out just one day on Sunday because Saturday there's always family time or me and my wife may hang out, right? So what I'm saying is that the routine that I've created kind of helps me balance all of the priorities and all of the things that I have, right? Work, kids, family, myself. The routine is what is important. So I think that's what allows me to kind of be, I would say, good at all of the things that I do.
Yeah, because I think that's a struggle that many people face. They want to be good in all of those areas, but many times one of those areas may seem like it's calling more than the other. So
Yeah,
then they let that thing go. The thing
yeah,
probably the one thing that they love that's for them,
yeah.
which is workout, because
Yeah.
they can't find the balance. So that's really good. So now, has that ever been a challenge for has you been such a fitness enthusiast? Has that ever been a problem with like your wife, like, hey, you working out too much?
Yeah, I would say yes. Especially like when we were single or when we didn't have kids, right? So I would probably work out, play basketball, be at the gym 3 hours. Sometimes I do that even now. I might be at the gym a little bit longer than I should, right? Um, there's been times where she has mentioned that and complained about that, which I understand. So what I try to do, which is why I created this routine, this schedule where I go out at 5 a.m., right? She's still asleep or getting ready for her day. So it's no interference there. So it's not like I'm missing out on spending time with her or spending time with the kids. They're asleep. They're probably just getting up, ready to go to school. So doing it in the morning is it benefits everybody. Me, got my own little time. I'm not in there when it's crowded. Benefits my wife, benefits the kids. So again, yeah, it's that's the most convenient time. But yeah, she has mentioned that to me in the past. And occasionally here or there, I may spend, like I said, longer than normal at the gym. But I think it's a balance now.
Yeah, and I love how you didn't allow that to keep you from working out. You just found a creative way to work out.
Yeah,
Like you said, that benefits everybody. You getting
yeah,
your quiet time, they're still getting you full time and everything. I think that's what a lot of people fail at. They don't want to be creative with their time. So got a
yeah.
question here for you. Well, okay, some alternative workouts versus squats for one suffering back pain.
Yeah. So instead of squats, you can do lunges. I mean, that still may give you knee pain, but you may be able to do a leg press machine if you go to the gym. Um, you may be able to do. Uh, you could probably do some front loaded squats with your feet elevated a little bit. That's supposed to be easier on the knees. Um, yeah, I mean, walking. I mean, if you can't do anything, you can at least walk, right? That's if you really have some really bad knee pain. But just doing something that's active, something that's moving your body that ideally is not as painful. But yeah, I would say those things.
Nice, nice. I got another one here for you. What's one thing about fitness, the gym, that you wish more people knew?
Um, I think, like I mentioned before, there's no end. Um, when it comes to fitness, there's no end. You have to do it until you can't anymore, which is probably when you physically can't do it anymore. Like as you get older, you're still going to need your muscles. You're still going to need your body to function to do regular daily activities like walk, get up from sitting down, lifting things. If you want to be able to do those pain free, you have to exercise. You have to exercise when you're 30, 40, 50, 70, 80. It may not be heavy weights, it may not be a lot of resistance, but you got to do something to keep your body able to do regular things like I mentioned, walking and lifting and sitting down and getting up. You want a good quality of life. And so I think fitness has no end. I think that's probably something that people may not know, but you have to always do it.
Nice, nice. Got another question for you, man. How does your faith help with consistency?
That's my dad right there. That's my father, Henry Pace. Yes, faith definitely helps with consistency because so I mentioned about my parents, my dad, my mom, my sister, going to church, learning about God. That was the expectation, right? And so that has helped me now as a father, as a husband, um, as a man, right? I have to have a consistent prayer life, a consistent devotion time where it's just me and God, because that's what helps me be great in all these other areas, right? That's what helps me through situations, right? There's not always going to be, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm happy to start my day. No, there's going to be days where I don't feel like it. Um, so having prayer time, asking God, hey, God, help me get through today. Help me with whatever I have coming up for the day. I'm not really feeling it today, Lord, but I know you're with me. Having that every day, having that consistently, even just in the middle of the day. You may have a situation that you're dealing with at work or with someone that, for whatever reason came into your life at that particular moment. You have to have a foundation that you can um, go to God real quick and say, "Hey, Lord, I'm struggling with this." Or if someone texts you and say, "Hey, pray for me. I'm doing this." Or, even today, like my mom had something that she was going through, and I got a text say, "Hey, pray for mom. She's having this." You take that moment and pray and ask God to help you. But to be able to do that, you have to have a consistent relationship with God. And so that helps me not only just as a person, as a man, as a husband, but obviously it helps me with fitness, right? It helps me um, stay consistent with going to the gym because I pray, Lord, I don't feel like going to the gym today, but I need you to give me some energy because this is the only time I can get it done. And I'm not going to feel right if I don't go. So, um, yeah, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I love that too. Because, so many times we do allow, because everything, the mind controls so much. We allow when things happen in our lives or we feel overwhelmed. And like you said, some days you wake up and you're like, hey, I'm not feeling it today. And God, I
Mm-hmm.
need you to help me do that. And people need to understand that that happens even to the best of us because they may not see that side of you on your social media pages because we normally post what we're out there to do. We out
Mm-hmm.
there, we ain't out here to pour our hearts out on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you really said that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't feel like going to the gym every day, but I do it.
Yeah. That might give me some ideas, right? I mean, not only is going to the gym every day showing that content that, is aesthetically nice for people to see, but maybe there is some content that I need to show about, hey, I'm not feeling working out today. Lord, help me with this. Or I know there's people who don't feel like working out today, me included. Let's talk about that, right? So that might be some content that I can start to share, the
I'll be
realer side.
expecting my I'll be expecting my check. No, I'm just playing.
Right. No, but seriously, yeah, there's days I don't feel. Even today, I think one of the posts that I did, I was tired, right? I was tired. I did legs yesterday, and I had to get up at 5 or 4 to do my workout at 5. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of days like that. But I know
Yeah.
it's important. I know it's helping me get to where I need to be and building me each and every day.
Yeah, and I think that's what people, like I said, and it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing too. People just take what is posted on social media as it, oh, they're always happy, they're always this, or there are some people you like, oh, they're always dramatic because they do post the drama or they're like
Yeah.
deep feelings out there. But that's one thing I love about your page too, though, is that even though we don't see the sides where it says, oh, I didn't feel like going to the gym today, when you watch your content, it's still inspiring, especially
Mhm.
for someone 40 plus like me. You see you because once you reach a certain age, sometimes it's made like you're supposed to just give up on working out. You're supposed to give up on taking care of yourself. Just
Mhm.
let go, you
Yeah.
know. So I think that's the thing when you go to your page and you see your content is super inspiring, dude. So I'm
Thank you.
always in awe when I see your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because there's times where I don't feel like posting a reel, but I'm always gonna post a story, right? I'm always gonna post that I went to the gym or that I'm making breakfast or that I'm eating protein, right? Because I'm like I said, I'm doing that already every day. Why not capture it, share it really quick? Um, but yeah, that's the goal, really, just to show and to share things that I do and things that others can do to elevate themselves, to be more healthy, and to stick to the fitness journey that they're on.
Yeah. Now you've been doing your platform about 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, about 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years. It was like I said, it kind of started from an idea. How can I take what I'm doing and uh, my goal was to make it a business, right? But then I realized like more than anything, I just want to inspire people, share fitness information and content. Um, but yeah, it started about 2 years ago. I got the logo, I came in with the name, I got the shirts and polos. So it's kind of just grown, not as much as I really was hoping for, but it's pretty steady, very consistent. Like I said, I'm gonna post at least on my story every day. So, but yeah, it started about 2 years ago.
Nice. Okay, we got a question here for you. About to make you smile. Let's see. Let's pull it up here.
My whole family is supporting me today. I see.
What's up? So, what advice would you have for a 71-year-old?
So that's my mom, Deliria Pace, right? So I should be asking her, right? Because she started working out. I don't know when, but I always saw her working out. Growing up, I would always see her exercising or going to exercise. Or even when I was a kid, I would go to the gym that she would go to and play basketball while she's exercising, right? But I mean, if you're 70, keep going. I mean, you've already been doing it your whole life. I mean, I've talked to my mom many times about friends that she has that may not be in the shape that she is, right? Even family members. Um, some of the challenges that my mom has dealt with and overcome. If she wasn't healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, I'm sure those challenges would be even harder for her. So I would say, if you're 70, keep exercising, keep moving, don't stop, because like I said, there's no end to this. You know, when she gets 81, I hope she can get up on her own. I hope she can walk and do the normal activities that she does now when she's 81. But to do that, she has to keep doing what she's doing, exercising, you know, lifting weights, eating healthy, right? Those are the foundation that will get you where you need to be when you're 80 and give you the quality of life that you want. So yeah, I would say keep doing what you're doing.
I love that. I love that. And 71, that's what I'm talking about. When I see older people at the gym, man, no lie, you know me, I talk to a lot of people, but I definitely try to talk to them because it's for me, it's super inspiring when you see someone in their 70s and their 80s
Yeah.
and they still in the gym, like
Right.
doing their thing, man. That's
Yeah.
the inspiration right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was at the gym yesterday. I went to this gym I don't normally go to, and they were playing basketball in there. And it was some older guys. And I went up to one of them after they were done. I was like, "How often do they play basketball in here? I'm 41. I'm trying to stay active, and I like to play." He's like, "Man, I'm 68, and I'm still playing, but they play these days." I'm like, "Man, 68? I hope I can still play at 68, right?"
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm sure he kept playing. I'm sure he never really took a lot of time off. Hopefully, he didn't have a lot of injuries. I didn't ask him you know, his life story, but to me, it seemed like he was still in good shape. You playing basketball at 68, so yeah.
Wow. 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 So, okay. So, Stephen, so what's next for you, man? Because I know you're constantly evolving and Elevate is doing some different things. What's next for you in Elevate? Elevate with Pace. What's next?
um, I don't know, man. This podcast thing and being able to talk and and speak and share verbally about things might be what's next, right? Because I don't really talk too much on my stories or in my reels, right? But I realized that this may be an opportunity just to share. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that are talking and say things maybe that they shouldn't, but for me, I'm 41. I've been working out 20 plus years, right? I feel like I have a little information and experience to share. I'm not certified at all, but I have the years. I have the proven from how I look, from how I feel, from the things I'm still able to do, to share how I got here, what things are good, what things I've done that have allowed me to get to where I am. So I think maybe speaking a little more, talking a little more about fitness and things that work for me, things that I recommend or that may work for others, might be what I want to do now.
I love it. And that's what I mean. I think so too. I mean, because you're a natural at it, dude, like real naturally good at it. And yeah, it's funny, but and we talked about this a little bit on last week's podcast and all of them so far this season about, constantly evolving and reaching pivotal moments and what you do when you get to those places. So I love the fact that you have this limitless view of your future. You can evolve here. You can do this. You can do this here, and you're willing to try them all, man. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, like this opportunity that you've given me to be on your podcast, right? I didn't, I couldn't have thought I was going to be on a podcast or that I would meet you or that, I would have this opportunity, but I'm going to take from it. I'm going to learn from it. Um, talk to you a little bit more, see how you got to where you are and see how that can, allow me to do bigger and greater things. Right. So, um, you know, opportunities come and you can't miss out on them or overlook them and just say, oh, this was just some podcast that some guy randomly met. Um, and so I'm gonna move on from it. No, this is an opportunity to kind of take what we've discussed, take what questions I've got from people, take feedback from you or anyone, and see, hey, maybe this is something I can use and grow from. So
Yeah. I love that, man. Because I love that, and I agree with you. I'm similar to that as well. When I make connections with people, like I shared last week, it's always for them to teach me something, bless me in some way, or me to teach them, or what. It's everything is for a reason. Nothing is like by chance. I
mhm,
live my life by that. So I can't
mhm.
wait to see what you're gonna do in the future, man. I'm
Yeah,
excited for you, dude.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean, Elevate with Pace is like I said, it's about fitness, about being healthy, which is what I do every day. So I'm glad that this has become what it's become, and I'm looking forward to more of it. So
Yeah. So, guys, Steven's information is scrolling across the bottom. Go out there and follow him on Instagram. That's where he is right now. He's thinking of doing some different stuff, but yeah. So go follow him on IG. Very inspirational. Have a lot of great content out there. And Steven, you have any final words for us, man?
um, like I mentioned, the consistency part, that's key, right? That's gonna always get you what you want, right? If you're consistent with one or two things or whatever you're trying to achieve, you have to be consistent with it if you want to improve on that, right? Consistency always wins. And then I talked about connection. You got to surround yourself with people who, a community of people who are in that space or are at the level you're trying to get to, or even just surround yourself with people who are going to help you get to where you are. You can't be around people who are not, going to help you with that goal or going to build you up when you need them. And then the last thing that I mentioned was um, challenge yourself. Always look for a challenge. Whether that's working out challenge, in the gym challenge, or whether that's growing professionally or spiritually. You need to be able to challenge yourself because that's what builds who you are. Um, those are my takeaways. Consistency always wins. Connections. Surround yourself with people who are going towards where you're trying to go. And then always challenge yourself because that builds who you are.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. So, Stephen, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. This has been amazing. Everybody, please go out like Stephen on Instagram. You'll see clips of us out on social media, but definitely go out and follow him on Instagram and get into his community because he's about to do some amazing things. And I'm going to be right there to watch it. So I'm excited, brother. So thank you again, guys. And we will see you all next Monday. All righty. Peace out.
Thanks, John. Thanks for the opportunity.
Brother.